Beauty!
Guys in the Gulf.
Okay, so anyone that saw last week's episode will know that we're doing a two-part series with Trent DeWitt. He's a local business owner or family business owners, a big advocate of the community in Katherine.
Yep, especially the fishing community, rec fishing community, owner of Rod and Rifle Tackle World in Katherine. If you're going through there, make sure you check him out.
And here it is, part 2 with Trent DeWitt.
But I seen a thing. I reckon you did something on. You were on the news one day a while back, maybe last year before. You got a crocodile in your backyard?
Oh yeah, yeah, old mate. Yeah, I got a little. He must be borderline 3 meters. I haven't measured him lately, mate. He's too angry, eh? He's about 3 meters. He'd be just under, I reckon. And I've had him since he was a little young'un. I used to live in Darwin there for quite a while, and he was in a fish tank up there. So when you live in a residential area, you can keep them up to 60 centimetres.
Yeah.
And once you get onto an acreage, you can have them as big as you want.
Yeah.
So we're lucky enough now we're on a few acres. So he's got his own little pen there, mate. He's happy as He just go down. I throw him a few chicken legs every now and again, and he's good fun. The kids sort of go down there and just. We have a fair few rules, obviously, because as fun as it is.
2-year-old and a 4-year-old, oh my goodness.
There's some,
That's their
some
favourite
boundaries. But when you have friends come up from south and that, mate, and you can show them a crocodile in their backyard, they love it. And, I've actually just got a permit for a second one. We're going to actually put one in the shop.
Yeah, right.
Just a little fella. Going to put him in a tank on the counter.
Yeah.
So people can get a close-up look at a crocodile as well. So
yeah, we used to have one because my parents own the service station in Borroloola, and we've had a couple there actually over the years. And once they get to 60 centimetres, you've got to send them back and get a new one. But I had a mate up from down south, and he came in late one night, and we were sitting out in the backyard sort of thing, having a couple of beers, and he said, every place I've been to, everyone's got a lizard or a snake or something. I said, yeah, we got a crocodile here. And he goes, no, you don't. I said, no, in the shop here, we got a pet crocodile in there. And he didn't believe me. And I opened the roller door up. I said, yeah, come have a look. And he goes, oh, is it friendly? I said, yeah, no, it's friendly as, mate. Like, it's a pet. Of course it's friendly.
You can pat him.
Pat him. Pick him up if you want. And I lifted the lid up on the enclosure, and he put his hand there, and I jammed that lid down so he couldn't pull his arm out. That little crocodile was savage. it had smashed into the side of the enclosure when you walk past it, eh?
They are aggressive, aren't they?
From such a small thing like that. Yeah. And strong too.
Mate, yeah. And you can see why, having one as a pet, gives you so much more respect for them, because you just hear like a chicken leg just crunch in half.
Getting crushed.
You go, you're only 3 meters. Imagine if this thing was 5 meters long.
Yeah.
What chance have you got, unfortunately?
Yeah.
So, and the way things are these days, Katherine River, for example, the high level bridge, so the main bridge in town, for those that aren't familiar, we've got a one high level crossing that crosses the Katherine River, and then we've got a low level bridge which floods this time of year. We used to be able to swim between the high level and the low level quite often, because that was obviously after the hunting days, so there wasn't many left. But 2019, I think, they caught 2 crocodiles in there. They hadn't caught one in there for 25 years or something.
Yeah.
And there was 2 of them in there, 2 saltwater ones. So it's just that...
And they were big as well, weren't they?
Oh, good size, yeah. People have to... your mindset has to completely change. I used to swim here when I was a kid. It's not the way anymore.
Yeah.
You've got to be croc-wise no matter where you are. Those things can be just... They're phenomenal. You'll come across a floodplain somewhere and they'll just be walking across the floodplain.
Yeah, out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they can be a long way from water too. Like, they can go a long way from water.
Yep.
People don't realise that. We had, there was a lady here was waiting out at the boat ramp here, and I'm like, mate, you can't, don't go in the water here. What are you doing?
Yeah.
There's crocodiles here. She goes, oh, no, the water's fresh. I said, yeah, it's fresh water. There's still crocodiles here. She goes, no, it's fresh water. Saltwater crocodiles aren't called saltwater crocodiles because they only live in salt water.
Common misconception, isn't it?
They live in fresh water more than saltwater, mate.
Absolutely, and the places you find them are just scary.
Yeah.
Absolutely scary. And, hate to come across one, put your leg in the water and one comes and says, g'day, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, well, having a pet one, like you're fully around it. Like, we had one in an enclosure, and it'd take you 10 minutes to find it sometimes, because they're that well camouflaged, and they sit so still. Like, have you ever been to like the crocodile farm in Darwin or anything like that, or what is it, like Crocodilus or whatever, down across the road from the police station there?
Yep.
Like, I went in there a few years ago, and you're walking across the top of the enclosures. and you're looking down, and there's like a 5 meter croc there. And it's such a tiny enclosure, and all you can see is his nostrils and his eyes there. And like the enclosure's not that big, like you can only just fit in there.
No, that's right.
But you wouldn't even know, you know what I mean? Like, and it's no more than a puddle, really.
And the same as for a creek bed or a billabong out in the middle of nowhere. You come across it, like especially all these cattle farmers and stuff. You know, they find the things out in the middle of nowhere in this tiny puddle of water, and all you can see is an eyeball sticking out of the mud.
Yeah.
You know, they're just sitting in there till the rains come.
Yeah.
And they can just shut down. They can just go into a mode where they don't need to eat. They don't need to do anything. They lower their heart rate. They just sit, and they can sit for 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, they'll whittle away to nothing, but they'll survive.
Yeah, they don't need to eat that much. So like, well, I suppose like most reptiles, they don't need to eat much. Like they can have one feed a year, you know, and that's it. And that's the thing. Like they can sit there and be so patient. That's why we tell people, like people that come to the club, especially new people, always be careful around the water. You know, you can go down to your boat and do the same thing every day for a year and not see a crocodile, but he could be just the same. He could be sitting right there waiting for you, right next to the boat.
Smart
like
buggers too. They watch it,
Yeah.
they learn.
Yep, and they can smell you from a mile away. They can feel the vibrations as you're walking down near the bank. They can size you up and know exactly where you are. And you know, unfortunately, there's been a couple of people not here, but around the territory though, there's been a couple of people over the last few years that have been taken, and you know, Territorians too. Like they're not just tourists. Like people that know what they're doing,
Just get
know where
complacent, mate.
yeah. And it does happen. So
Like
I mean,
jumping in the water to check transducers. And
Yeah. That's shit.
we might have to
At least it
edit that
wasn't
bit out. Yeah, no. So, but out around the islands there, like obviously there's crocodiles out there. You can be out in the ocean. There's crocodiles out there, but they're not everywhere. Like they're like I know plenty of people, and I've done it myself. You know, snorkeled out there and you know getting crays and spearfishing and that.
Yeah, I'd definitely go diving for crays out there a lot, but it's a bit of a more of a calculated risk, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's sitting there for a little while at the water. You know, generally, it's hard to say that, but generally there shouldn't be one out around those islands too much. You know,
Yeah, if you're out in the deep blue, yeah. Obviously, on the actual islands themselves, there's plenty of crocs, but when you're actually out in the reefs and stuff, away from there, because that's not their normal habitat.
No.
Plenty of big tiger sharks and stuff there, but like you say, calculated risk, like you know, it's no different to if you're surfing in Perth or Adelaide or Sydney. Even, you know, you get them big white pointers.
sharks,
you know,
yeah, mate, exactly.
you know, you're just as likely to get eaten bloody swimming at Bondi as you are diving for crays out here.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just you're a bit further away from hospital if something happens.
Do you get out and get crays much? Do you go diving?
Nah, not anymore. Years ago, like 15 years ago, I had a mate that used to live here, and he was all around it. Like he used to be a pearl diver in Western Australia, and he was really switched on and knew exactly what he was doing. And I used to jump in with him because he was just really knew what he was doing. But no, I haven't jumped in and done it for a long time. But we actually get them just land based, nighttime. Yeah, nighttime with the headlamp, because obviously
nice.
they glow in the torchlight.
Yeah, they light up. They're a beautiful thing, the painted cray, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, they're a pretty cool looking animal.
Yeah, they're unreal, and there's plenty of them here. Like there's miles of them out around them islands there. But yeah, nighttime. We were going to do it.
we have to do
last
it
year.
in a video at some stage. We have to do it.
Yeah, we only just talked about this the other day about doing a trip out there, going out to the islands, and there's a couple of spots there we know where at night time you can go put the headlamp on and just sort of knee deep water on the coral and low
just spear
tide.
'em.
Yeah, just walk around with a headlamp and you can see them like they shine real bright. It's sort of like a barra's eyes, you know. They bloody reflective. So
Iridescent sort of painting on
yeah.
them. Yeah.
So you can see them with a headlamp and just hand spear, and then I've done it a few times. Just usually have like a tub sort of thing and just have it floating behind you, tied to a bit of rope, tied to your shorts or whatever, and then just walk around. You got to wear boots obviously and that, because it's you walk around them rocks. You don't want to get stonefish or something, but you can see them at night time, hand spear them, and then chuck them in the tub and go get 3 or 4 of them and have a feed.
Yeah, they're not bad chewing.
Yeah.
Cook them right, they're good, eh?
Yeah, that's it. I think they're I don't know, they don't really have their own like flavour or anything like that. I don't think. Like you got to cook them with something like garlic or something like that. It's usually garlic butter or something like that.
Yeah.
But or chuck it in like pasta or something like that.
I had a
they're
friend
really
do a Mornay once with
Yeah?
it. Beautiful, mate.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, spot on. That was the best way I've ever eaten them. As
Yeah.
a Mornay. Yep.
Yeah, no, we
nice.
might have to try that this year. We talked about it the other day, going out and doing it. I'm not sure when the best time of year to do it is. I'm not sure because I think they go like to breed. They go way out to sea or something to breed as well. I think.
I don't know anything about them, mate.
Yeah.
I just know that if I throw my mask on, generally you'll find a couple.
Yeah, out around them rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which again here, there's just miles and miles and miles of that stuff. So
yeah, you got to be prepared for them though. Like it's a battle when you're getting them out. Like you're diving down, and they're sitting in a hole. They've got horns on their head that face towards you.
Yep.
So as you're trying to slide your hand in, you're getting pricked by the horns on their head. They're just they're just built to grab hold of a rock and not be pulled off.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a battle. You gotta, if you're gonna go out and look for crows, you gotta have something up your arm as well, because you're gonna be reaching into rocks and then scratch your arms and you're gonna get infected so.
We might just do the walk around, eh?
Yeah, that sounds like a good way to do it.
We'll let Trent do it.
Yeah.
No, years ago, I've done
Send in the mullet.
Yeah, mullet will do it. Jesus. Oh, God. Where do we start with mullet? We're a bit dusty this morning because we were at the bar was open last night. We had a few beers, but we went home, tried to be half sensible so he could come in early this morning and catch you before he took off, and got a phone call from Mullet. He's
at midnight.
Midnight. He's me date drove down from Darwin to see me, and she's bloody stuck in the side of the road. And no. So yesterday afternoon we came down, set some stuff up here, and then we went around to Mullet's place to give him a hand lift. And he had a big old like double door fridge, like commercial style, like shop fridge.
About 400 kilos.
Oh, mate, it was like come off the ark, this thing. It was heavy as hey. Like it took all three of us, like we had to tip it over onto the back of his ute. Took all three of us to lift the engine part of it up and push it on. And Mal was supposed to take it to the dump. Instead, we went out to help his lady out when she got stuck there last night and come across a fridge in the middle of the road. So we went out there, got the car out of the bog, come back, lifted it back onto the back of his ute, and then got about 2 k's down the road.
The fridge is in the middle of the road again.
This is the last time I figured this thing up, mate. I'm busted.
Does she know what she's getting into?
Oh, I don't think so. Evidently not. Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, he's a wild operator. But always good fun, though. Always good fun. So you got rod and rifle tackle there, mate. What's your plans for the future? You got, any big things coming up that you...
Not really, mate. It's the moment I'm struggling just to staff the shop, to be honest. Like it's, we do the show every year and we do lots of different things throughout the year, but this year I'm going to really struggle just for staff. I can't get them. I don't know what happened since COVID, mate, but there's nobody around to work.
Seems like every industry is struggling.
Yeah,
from building, just everyone is struggling.
Yeah, we're definitely not.
Try and get an appointment for a medical thing or something at the moment.
Got no hope.
You'll have to wait till next
year.
year.
I don't understand what happened. I don't know whether, like, as a society now, we've just accepted that that's the way it is, or because we cannot find retail workers.
Yeah,
and I know it's not the most glamorous job, and it's very repetitive, but. I mean, we used to be able to find, I suppose, staff would come to us looking for a job, and now we're begging people to come to us for a job. It's the other way around.
Yeah, I know. Certainly for us here, as the club's expanded, we've gone a completely different way now. So we've put in some accommodation, and now we get backpackers to do a lot of the actual labour side of the jobs here. So like working behind the bar and in the kitchen and stuff. So we have managers in those positions, but. Yeah, like last year was our first year doing it, but it worked really, really well for us.
Yeah,
they needed.
I can just imagine Trent's though, like that someone comes in and asks the Argentinian who's just got off the plane, where do I catch a barramundi? Barramundi?
It's a bit different. Yeah.
That's the problem. They have to sort of like fishing, as well. But, but there's a good feed there last night. Like that, I'm surprised that it's the middle of the wet season here, but old Grobers is pumping along, eh?
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, we're trying to. I suppose that's one thing that I've been trying to do is extend our seasons, because like it wasn't that long ago you come here and nothing was open at all. You'd be lucky to have the bar open 1 or 2 nights a week in the wet season. Now we've got it set. The bar's open, the kitchen's open 3 nights a week in the wet season. Once the season kicks in, like last year for the first time, again I'm off the back of getting backpackers as workers. We started opening the bar at lunchtime. So during the tourist season now, people can actually go out there and get a feed at lunch.
Yeah, nice.
And they can go and get a schooner at lunchtime. Another thing we did was, straight away, that was one of the sort of first things that I did when I sort of got heavily involved was put beer on tap. And then and we've slowly built that up, and now like the place is absolutely rocking. You know, in the middle of the year you come here, and again, you know, like they say, you build it, they'll come. You know,
we actually realised that with COVID. You know, when they announced that they were going to shut the borders, we as a business thought we were done.
Yep.
But when they shut the borders, Territorians started to travel up and down the highway.
Yep.
We saw more people then than we did in peak tourist season.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, and for us that was a big eye opener because we just thought we had this season where quiet, crazy, quiet. You know, and that was the cycle. But now we realise that if you put the effort in during those quieter months, the people are still there. They're still around. You've just got to, you know, let them know you're there pretty much. And our seasons have not sort of, they're just different now. We're not so up and down. You know, we're a lot more stable all the time. We're just constantly busy. And then obviously we get the peak season. We love the tourists, but geez, it's hard to get a bottle of milk or a loaf of bread from Woolies.
Yeah, well, that's, like here, mate, it just gets crazy here. Like in the peak of the dry season, when this, you know, when it's packed out, like the servo, like they do such a good job here keeping everything, you know, stocked up. But like you don't want to be there on a Thursday afternoon when the truck's just been in because like it's just
And that's what we want, you know. Like we just want the territory to fill with as many people we can to come and see it and see why we live here and what we do. You know, like coming out here, it's just people from southern states who don't get to do this sort of stuff just wouldn't understand the lengths we go to catch fish, but then also what you're doing out there. It's just you know, there's no one else around you for miles and miles. You know, you're the only boat on the water, and you're landing fish of a lifetime constantly. It's just a different world, and everyone can experience it.
It is such, and we've touched on it before, but it's such an important thing too. Like fishing, I mean, like we said before, fishing. It's not just like it's not just a sport. It's a way of life, and it's something that it's not always just about catching a fish. It's gone 300 k's down the road, picking your mate up, then driving for 7 hours to get somewhere, to jump in the boat for 3 hours to get down the river.
Yeah.
You know, to catch you know, a couple of kilos of fish.
100%. Yeah. And then the best part is when someone says, "Oh, you mind bringing me back a couple of fillets?" Yeah, no worries. It's about $300 a kilo, but sure.
That's it. But that's the whole point, though. It's that lifestyle. Though. Without fishing, like I don't know. The territory would be buggered, I think.
Yeah, and it gets in your blood, mate, doesn't it? Like
absolutely.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing, and
even people that don't like fishing, that you bring them somewhere like here and take them out around them islands and stuff. Even if you hate fishing, you know, you've never done it or whatever. 5 minutes out there, mate, when you get on the big school of goldies or something like that, and everything's crazy. Like it instantly everyone's hooked. Don't they just love it?
Yeah, and it's funny, you know, like you say, you drive 300 k's and you do this and you do that, and I text my wife along the way, you know, I'm here now, you know, and she's like, geez, you're still going, you know. It's three hours to pick up Brad, and then it's 5 hours to King Ash, and then it's a couple hours to the island, and it's just like, she's like, when do you actually get there?
Yeah, it's a long way, but like it's just one of them things, and you get used to it. Like I know, again, if you live like in Melbourne or Sydney or whatever like that, you get used to driving an hour to work, and you're only going a few k's up the road.
Yeah, imagine us driving an hour to work.
Yeah,
you know,
an hour, I'm 100k down the road.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, driving to work. I mean, it takes me about 3 minutes. I'd lose my mind if it took me any longer than that. Eh?
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it. Yeah, there's not too many traffic jams in Katherine.
No, definitely not.
Although I haven't said that peak tourist season, mate.
Tourist season. There's intersections to avoid during the tourist season. I tell you. Yeah, it gets a bit crazy in there.
All the nomads with their caravans and that.
No, and the council does a good job. They're continually expanding parks for them and that.
Yeah.
You know, since COVID, so many people have vans now, and they're all travelling, and you know, they come to Katherine, they load up, they go to Darwin, then they come back, and then they go west or something like that, and it's a
do you think
pretty crazy time.
The town's recovered really well from COVID?
Yeah, I think it has. Yeah, apart from the staffing issues. It's a bustling little town. It's probably busier than it's ever been.
Yeah,
especially with the defence that's going on. You know, the mining as well. Obviously, a controversial subject is the Beetaloo Basin and that, which is on the way here. But all of that is contributing to the town's growth, and it's a good little place to be at the moment. And
it's like to some extent a necessary evil. Some of this, like mining and stuff, obviously controversial, and it doesn't always go hand in hand with fishing. But a lot of the time, you do need those industries to be able to, you know, for the government to be able to spend money on things like roads and stuff. Like the road here is getting upgraded.
Yeah. How good's that?
And you know, it's you know, that's unreal. Like that single lane now is getting dual lanes most of the way.
Yep.
without that mining stuff, which a lot of people don't object to it, but without that, you wouldn't have them roads,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have that access, and everyone wants that, a nice trip down here, and without that mining stuff, you wouldn't, you just wouldn't have it.
No, exactly. And that dual lane highway from Highway In now is just, I can't wait for that to be finished.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me
isn't it
about it.
nice?
'Cause I
eh?
drive that road, once a fortnight. So
yeah, insane, isn't it?
yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it being finished.
Yeah. Yeah, no, just when you get on it now and you just set the cruise control and you just sail along, it's a different world. Then you get back on that dual lane, that single lane, and she's a bit bouncy.
Oh, yeah. It's a bit rugged.
Proper. We can,
I'll tell you one thing is something you do, you have at the shop there, which we've got around a fair bit, is chopper rods.
those little rods, yeah. So that was
I think I've got 6.
that was a little just a brainwave of Dad and I. There was a few out there, but they weren't heavy enough.
Yep.
So we just went, let's try and make a 10 kilo rod that can fit on the dash of your car, or go under the seat of the helicopter, or just places that, if you're a bore runner on a station, you want your fishing rod, but you don't want the thing to be long.
Yeah.
But also you don't want to spend, a few $100 on like a travel rod, like
Yeah.
those ones we were talking about earlier. These little chopper rods for $80, mate, they're bulletproof.
Yeah.
You can hardly break them, eh?
Yeah, that's it. Well, we've got several of them between us, and like from Barra reef fishing, I mean they're. Or I wouldn't say you'd go. There's not really finesse sort of fishing. Like
no,
you
definitely
would put a
not.
small little light lures on them.
No,
and
they're
flick
little
all day,
broomsticks, yeah.
But they're just so good. Even chucking on the dash of my workboat, or dash of the Toyota, and it just sits there ready to go. So
Got a pink one now for the ladies, and then I've also just got the prototype for a spin.
Oh,
Yeah,
spin
I've
version.
been waiting for this.
Yeah, so the spin, I got it only in sort of a week ago, and we just did a couple of little cosmetic alterations to it, and then they should be in production now, so they should be far
Awesome.
away, and we'll have a little spin one as well. And we can't believe how many of those we sell.
Yeah.
The only thing we struggle a bit with the shipping.
Yeah.
Like being in Katherine, once upon a time those rods cost you about $15 to ship them,
yeah,
and then something happened with Australia Post where they were 5 or 6 centimeters too long now.
Oh, oversized
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, so now
okay.
we can to ship them. It's like $80.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, people sort of buy 5 or 6 at a time to make the shipping worthwhile.
yeah.
But we had Merv Hughes come. We did a fishing trip with Merv Hughes not too long ago, and we went in a chopper. One day we took them for a fly to go and fish some creeks and stuff, and they lent their rods up on the side of the helicopter, and we loaded into the chopper. So I don't know, Squizzy, have you ever seen his co-host Squizzy? So Merv and Squiz, they're big units.
Yeah.
So we're in a Jet Ranger, and I'm leaning forward. My brother's beside me, leaning on the seat, and then Merv and Squiz are beside me on the other side, and we are just jammed in this helicopter like properly, like it was just like a can of sardines. Anyway, they've lent their rods up against the side of the helicopter, forgot to put them in, so we've taken off, and they probably got chopped to bits. We don't know, but anyway, they're not there now. But we get all the way out to where we're going, and all we've got is these little chopper rods. So that's all they used the whole time. They absolutely loved them. Just changed their complete mind on them. They just thought, they're going to be short and crap, but just for flicking a little hard body, they're just perfect for that. So.
They're good when you're in especially land based too. If you're like you're in the timber and that, like they're nice and short. You can actually flick a lure like with a full size rod, 2 meter long rod.
Yep.
In the trees all the time with them little chopper rods. You can just backhand them.
Yep. And they've got plenty of balls too. 10 kilo. You can pull them out a fair bit. And
we've got some good barras with them, like some big.
Yeah, I
barras.
see them on the videos. You can hook in, it's good.
Yeah,
Fun.
I get at least once a week I'll get a message from someone saying, "Oh, what rods are those? Where do I get them?" Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, you must have sold a bloody shitload of them.
Yeah, so I mean, with the orders of them, literally, I get in 200, and there's you just place the order for the next 200.
Yeah.
So it's just a revolving door of 200 arrive. You order 200 arrive, and it just never stops. And most of the time, I sell them before I get the next batch.
Yeah.
So it's been a good little thing for us. And we, as a fishing shop, you're just looking for that stuff to just be a little bit unique and a little bit different,
Yep.
and that's what we really push to do. That's why we've got the smokers and the Yeti and all that different stuff, just to try and be a bit unique.
Yep.
Because you can go down the road and pick up a lure from any shop, but you
Yeah.
sort of got to give people a reason as to why should I support you.
Yeah.
And that's what we work really hard on that, and give them the reasons to want to come and see us, and and see that when they do spend their money with us, it goes back into the town. You know,
Yeah.
like our logos on a lot of sports uniforms, a lot of kids uniforms. You
Yeah.
know, and a lot of fishing clubs, and we just try to support every single thing we can. And give us that little unique edge, I suppose.
It is difficult though too, because especially someone like yourself, because you are central. So I know you support us, like you support King Ash Bay and sponsor us for our fishing comps and that. And we try and, especially all our territory stuff, we try and reciprocate where we can. So I think we might buy our Yetis off you guys maybe,
you
and
do.
then
You buy prizes and Yetis. Yeah.
So we try and if people sponsor us and they're like someone like Fishing Shop's obviously perfect. You know, we get sponsorship for it. We try and buy stuff back off you as well to try and make it reciprocate. But for you guys being there central and doing so many different things, you guys must get hit up for sponsorship for so much different stuff.
Yeah, we do, and we had to sort of we approached it a different way because we were getting hit up constantly for stuff, and that's fine. But people always want cash.
Yeah.
And that's like, all right, that's all good. So the way I sort of grew up was we used to race a lot of BMX and do a lot of rugby league and stuff, and mum and dad didn't have much money to send you away, so they'd send you off with the box of Caramello Koalas,
Yeah.
or the 50 clubs, you know. So I get a lot of kids come in and want to go away for sport, so we give them the opportunity to just cook a barbecue at the front of the shop every Saturday. I supply everything, set it all up for them. I supply absolutely everything, so whatever they come and cook and sell, they get to keep, you know. So I give them 100 snags, bread, sauce, whatever they want, and all they've got to do is turn up and cook it. So I just try to instill that thing in them that you come with your hand out, you know, I'll give you something, but you're going to have to work for it, you know, because it's that's not the way you should operate, I suppose.
Yeah, you're just not just giving out cash.
Yeah, that's right. So we, you know, if they really want it, they'll come and they'll cook it and they'll enjoy it, and you know, they'll actually see the benefits, and it gives them a bit more respect for that money that they've raised. You know, that $300, $400, $500 they might get on that morning, which buys them a plane ticket or whatever it might be. They'll just have a lot more respect for it because they've sweated, they've got up earlier, they've cooked them snags, you know, they've talked to people, and it just makes them a bit more aware of how much effort goes into getting that money, I suppose.
Yeah.
And so that's settled down a fair bit of our constantly hit ups. You know, we have a huge budget for sponsorship because that's what we want to do. We want to pour it back into the town, you know, like whatever we can support, we will, to a point where we send ourselves pretty silly sometimes with the amount that we give away, but that's fine. You know, that's why we're there.
So with because I follow you on your socials and that, has that changed your business, do you think, in the last few years? Because it certainly seems like that social media side of thing, like that's like nearly everything I buy these days is influenced by, you know, what you see on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram. Or
if you're not on there, mate, you're going to sort of find it really hard to get people to notice you. I mean, Mikey, you'd know with your social stuff, you'd see the difference when you do a post. You know, you get instant results on whatever it might be, whether you're selling a shirt or a hat or whatever it is. It happens straight away. Like you guys probably saw that video with the Goldie out there.
Yep.
I posted that with the Starlink. You know, just to show people that I get a product. It's not just about putting it on the shelf. I want to show you me actually using it, and showing that it works. But then, you know, you put the link to the shop on there, and they'll purchase a lure or two, and that's what you're after. So it's good. There's the social media, mate. You have to be on it, I believe. Not just that, there's so many other little tricks and stuff in the background of it, especially with your Google Maps and all that. You know, everyone comes into a town and they want to know what's there, so they Google it, and you've got to make sure you've got all your data right in the back end so that, you know, you're popping up, and
so that people can find you.
Yeah, it's really it's a bit of a mind-boggling thing to navigate. Lucky there's people out there that know what they're doing. Yeah, I'd just run a route on it.
You seem to do pretty well.
No, I just get my ugly face on there. I just annoy people into buying stuff.
I see you there cooking up a feed out the front there. And come on, you mob, come in, have a hamburger.
I just want people to enjoy. Just like, I don't want to just jam stuff down their throat. Just want to have a bit of fun and a laugh. And mate, some of those videos we did back in the day, there's one there. Friggin', I looked at it the other day. I just shook my head and went, "What did I do that for?" we did a Braveheart one with the when the rivers opened, because they closed off all the rivers closed off fishing during COVID. And so we were sitting around when they opened the rivers, and someone said, "Why don't you do a Braveheart video like, get back to the rivers and stuff. So we went home and we saddled up a horse, and I painted myself like bloody old mate Braveheart, and we did a video on it, and just I look at it now and I just cringe, and I just go, what are you doing, mate?
I'm going to have to dig that one out of the archives. And
Yeah, don't worry, Mikey will find it, mate. He'll put a little clip on him.
I tell you, but yeah, I don't know. I just bloody show people that I'm still a human, just being an idiot, having fun. It's good.
No, like you say though, if you enjoy what you're doing, mate, you're not really working.
Nah, it's easy, mate. I work with my mum and dad. A lot of people can't do that probably. And we have our ups and downs, but geez, we get along well, and we support each other a lot in all the decisions we make and stuff. And when I first got back, like I was an electrician for 13 or 14 years in Darwin, and then I went travelling with my wife, and we disappeared for a few years, and then came back, and the plan was always to go back to the shop. But when I first got back, it was a real battle with my old man. We clashed hard on just, he's just old school, which is cool, but then like you say, you mentioned social media and stuff, you got to be on that stuff. So it took a while for him to sort of come around and see that the results of that sort of stuff working. And now we just, it's good.
Yeah, now it's just a standard for everyone. I mean, I know here, like Mikey started pretty much the socials for the fishing club here. Now, like, everything gets done on socials.
100%.
All your advertising stuff. We don't pay for any advertising for anything. It's all just done on socials. And obviously, Mikey's channel obviously does a massive amount for the club. Like,
for sure, mate,
a lot of our, I would say 99.9% of new people that come here would have watched his videos. And a substantial amount of them would have actually travelled here because of his videos. So anyone that's planning to come here would go and Google King Ash Bay, and straight away you'd find Mikey's videos.
The first 100 results is me.
So and hopefully this podcast. And that's why we started doing this, is like, we'll give something for people when they're driving. Like, it's great. Like, obviously people can watch this on YouTube, but like, they can download it on Spotify or whatever like that. When they drive, and they can listen to it, and they can download 10 episodes and on the drive up and
King Ash Bay content on the drive up. If they're driving for 4 days to get here.
Get them in the mood, and try and get some good information out there for people, and
even just paint a picture for people who aren't maybe ever planning to come here, but they just want to understand what it's like. Helps give that image in their mind of what the place is.
Well, we've had the last few days, we've had a couple of people send us a message on our podcast on Facebook Messenger. We had a couple of people, 2 separate people in the last couple of days that used to come to King Ash Bay like 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And they're going, I haven't even thought about King Ash Bay for years. I just stumbled across your podcast. Mate, I'm going looking at the boat now. I'm going to get it packed up and sorted. I'm coming up this year. Like, we're going to do it again. Come up and see what's going on. So that was the whole plan for us, was just to try and promote the area, and just try and get things happening a bit. Because not everyone wants the place to be bigger and better. Like, so some people are happy just having it quiet. Unfortunately, like as we spoke about with insurances and stuff before, like, you have to adapt, because you've got no option. We have to have insurances and things like that, and that costs money. And then you have to have like the bar. Like, we open the bar now at lunchtime. We've got to pay for staff. So there's all this stuff happening. So we just need to keep progressing. Otherwise, if you don't progress, you die. Like, you
No, you don't move. You'll sit still and you'll die. 100%, mate. Yeah.
So that's only brand new. This is the second episode we've done.
Yeah, second one.
Yeah, so when we started, we didn't even have microphone. Like, we had Mikey's just
wireless.
His wireless Bluetooth ones,
Yep.
So so it's obviously, and Mikey's just brought those ones back. That microphone that you've got, he's just brought that back from Darwin now.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've got 2 of them. There's one sitting over there, so we can have 2 guests on. We've got 4 channels here. We can connect a phone through Bluetooth for this. So if we wanted to bring up a clip and play a sound or music or something,
nice.
The sound will go through it, and it's pretty good bit of gear. We're pretty happy.
Well,
that definitely makes it easy.
Fingers crossed it takes off and goes good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the way it's going now, you look at the like, what do you call it? The
analytics.
Yeah, like the analytics, and everything's going like, on a 45-degree angle upwards. So
perfect.
So and every episode's got slightly better as we've gone. And then we did the one with mullet last week's one, and that's
the mullet effect.
Yeah. It's it's wild. So
You need to listen to that episode 9 on your drive back.
Yeah,
download it.
well,
Yeah, I'll
Just
have
to
a
listen
look.
to his stories. It's
Bit of a
and
laugh.
that's the PG version of
Yeah.
him too.
I had to
And
cut-
there's about
cut bits
400
out,
of them.
yeah.
Like we're going to get him back on again, like in a couple of weeks, I reckon.
yeah.
Yeah, good.
So your old man more or less started that business or moved it to where it is now.
Yeah, it grew it from what it was to what it is. Yeah, and then it's sort of gone up in leaps and bounds from there again. Yeah.
And so you do a lot for the community. Your old man does as well because he's currently the president of
Yep.
AFANT.
Yep,
and has been for quite a while. Hey?
Yeah, he's on 25 years, I think,
Yeah.
something like that today. Yeah, he fights hard. You know, a lot of that stuff is a thankless sort of job in the background.
Yeah.
You know, but he's on the phone every day for a good couple of hours, whether he's talking to ministers or his CEO or whatever it is. He's always fighting for amateur fishermen.
Yep.
And again, a lot of people just don't see that work in the background. You know, they want it to be publicised and stuff, but it just doesn't. They think that AFANT does nothing in the background, but they are fighting every single day with ministers and you know, it's all about the way you do it as well. You know, you can't just go out and attack people, ministers, and say you're not doing this, rah. You've got to do it all diplomatically, and there's correct ways to do stuff, and there's channels you've got to go down. It takes time, you know.
And nothing's as simple as it seems on the surface. Like,
No way, mate. You know, and obviously, you know, we had a few beers last night, and we chatted about the netting and all that sort of stuff, and you know, they're working tirelessly now. You know, trying to help that situation for both parties. You know.
Yep.
So it's a fine line. Yeah.
Yeah, so we talked about that on last week's episode about that briefly because obviously I saw David Giravolo, who's the CEO of AFANT. And again, for people that don't know, AFANT's the Amateur Fishermen's Association of the Northern Territory, which is a big association. It's got a lot of pull politically. Like it is definitely a very political sort of
very powerful
thing.
too.
Yeah.
It's basically just a huge lobby group that, you know, all the amateur fishermen channel their concerns and things through AFANT. AFANT then lobby the government to either get things changed, get more money, get things upgraded, whatever, you know, and they work really hard on all that sort of stuff.
So, and the big ticket item at the moment, which David's just been talking about, I think he was on the ABC radio this week or last week, discussing it, is the commercial barra fishing, which is netting, netting industry. So maybe like the way I thought it was that basically, or the issue was that commercial barra netters have been working in Buckingham Bay area, so like west of Nhulunbuy, and now basically TOs that own that land and that sea country there have removed the access, so there's no access there for commercial netters, and the concern now is that they're going to move into places where rec fishers fish. Is that the general?
Yeah, it's about sharing the load pretty much. You know, like obviously the less places they have to go, that they can go, the more pressure it's going to put on individual fisheries.
Yeah.
So you know, you start closing off all these areas without decreasing the amount of licenses out there.
Yeah.
Then you've still got the same amount of fishermen. They've just got less areas to go.
You're just condensing the problem into one area or two areas. Yeah.
And all you know, like I believe that everyone should be able to go to a restaurant and get a wild caught barramundi fillet.
Yeah.
Like that's, you know, that's not the goal here is not to get rid of that altogether. It's about conservation. Like if you had an area that gets netted, what's a netter worth? How much net can they have? A kilometre?
I think it's 1,000 meters. Yeah.
Yeah. So kilometre of net, right? You have maybe one person working an area for 10 or 15 years, as he's done, pokes along, does a bit, you know. It hasn't affected the stocks here too much. You close another area, and then that one boat that was fishing that area then goes down to that other fella's spot.
Yeah.
There's 2 boats there now. There's 2 kilometres of net there now. All of a sudden, you're doubling the take straight out of there.
Yeah.
You know, so you're going to affect the amount of fish in the system to a point where you're probably going to decimate it.
Yeah.
Then you're going to wreck the recreational side of it. You're going to wreck your commercial side of it. So when they flog that spot to death, they're going to have to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Then they're going to flog that spot to death. So, I mean, the smart way I see it would be to put in a quota system.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, rightio, yeah, look, you can absolutely fish there during those times, but you can only take this much out. From what I've seen, they've tried to set some sort of quota thing, but it's the data that they've used is it's just not correct.
Yeah.
Basically, they've used some data from a 20-year period when, say, as one place has been fished by one boat for 20 years, and he's just poked along. He's got a few 100-ton, whatever, and then last year 2 boats rocked up there, and it skyrocketed the data up. They've taken that as the maximum amount you're allowed to take out.
Yeah.
So that's just a bit skewed, if you ask me. Like, it's been flogged worse than it ever has been that year, and that's the maximum now.
Yeah.
When you've averaged the data out, sort of thing, and
looked at an average over a period of time.
But again, look, that's why we have AFAN, and that we need those people to support those associations that fight for that, because the industry, the recreational fishing industry, you guys know. I mean, why do people come here?
Yeah,
recreational fishing. The money that it drives through the NT economy is absolutely huge.
Well, that's it for us here. Like, that's 100%. Like, without fishing, there would be no King Ash Bay.
Exactly.
Like, this is a big business now.
Yep.
It's a very substantial business, and we're a club, but obviously we're a business as well. So without that rec fishing stuff, we'll be buggered. And not just that, like places like Katherine and all these places that you wouldn't get anyone to go there.
No, all these hubs, mate. That service these places where they fish. If people rocked up here and they went out the mouth of the MacArthur and saw 3 commercial netting boats out there, decimating stocks, and then they come back, next year and the fish are getting less and less and less. Well, something's got to be done about that. So, like I said, I'm all for being able to order a beautiful wild caught barramundi fillet.
Yeah,
like that's everyone's should be able to do that, but
it just needs to be managed.
Needs
better.
to be controlled. It seems, So.
Yeah, cause it is hard because it's. I think the territory's fairly unique. I think compared to a lot of places where the actual ocean and rivers and things are actually owned by people, like that's owned by traditional owners and stuff. So, I mean, it'd be hard to be in government as well, trying to work things out when you have the landowner says we want to shut this area off, and that sort of because at the same time you've got like the commercial operator's been operating for however many years or whatever, like they've still got a business to run as well. So, I mean, it'd be a tough place to be in government trying to actually work it all out, but. Certainly,
don't envy their position.
But obviously, you don't want to ruin the rec side of things because that's a massive industry. It's a
huge, mate, absolutely huge. Yeah, the flow-on effect. There's 2,500 people employed directly because of recreational fishing.
Yeah,
let alone all the subsidiary businesses like us. That sort of thing.
Yeah,
it's huge, mate.
Yeah, well, that's it. Even like my parents' business in town, without rec fishing, like the service station, you'd only have the local, people that live locally buying stuff off you. But like without tourist season, you're buggered, because as you know, like this time of year, it's hard to make money at this time of year. Like there's no one here.
No, that's right. And when you want them to come, they want to be able to catch a barra. Yeah, they want to have a good time. So yeah, look, fingers crossed that common sense prevails and they'll do something, but
election year this year, so I mean there'll be a lot of promises made.
There's a lot going on this year, I think. Eh?
Yeah, so we're really lucky. We got Edjo, Steve Edgington as our local member after the last territory election. We're really lucky we've got him because he comes out here all the time, and he's like always sends messages, gives you a phone call. Hey, what's going on down there? Is there anything going on? I'm going up to Darwin this week. Is there anything you want me to bring up? Or,
that's perfect.
And that's why we got the funding for that phone tower now is, because again, work from Edjo,
Yep. We should try to get him on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. When he comes down next. Like, he's just, such a good fellow. Like, he bloody always calling up, seeing what's going on, what do you need? Is everything going all right? And, like I say, now we've got that phone tower. That's massive. That's a game changer for us here. Like, in the tourist season, not just for safety of people going out in the boat and that, where you have service, hopefully down the river and that, but, like, all the people that are travelling that do run businesses remotely and stuff, which is, post-pandemic, there's a lot of people that are travelling that still run businesses or like Mike, and they run an online business, Yep. And like you would have seen it in Katherine, the amount of people that come through now. Like every other caravan's got, follow us on our Instagram, or everyone's trying to do the trip in a van type bloody YouTube channels and stuff. So and those people need phone service and internet to be able to do their work. So having Edjo here has been bloody a godsend for us.
Yeah, and without sort of getting too political, I suppose, like we're lucky in Katherine as well. Our local member, mate, she's at every single event that we have on. Like, you know, I see her everywhere. Her name is on stuff sponsored all the time. Like, you know, and that's what you want, I suppose, from a politician, is to be in touch with your people in your town and know what's going on and you have your ear to the ground, eh?
Yeah. Well, election year this year, mate, it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. But, you know, it's always good, though, because this is when you can start actually getting some stuff done.
Yeah, well, you can get a few promises
from both sides
of the fence. So I don't know how they follow them through, but, yeah, at least you can get something. Yeah.
So what else we got, Mike? Anything else you want to plug or anything like that?
No, not really, mate. I suppose a big thing is, like, from my point of view, and you'd be the same, is that small local business stuff. You know, you know, there's big guys in every industry.
Yeah.
But I suppose just ask people to take a minute and have a look at the big guys and see what they do for their town.
Yeah.
And just things like that. It goes a long way when you spend at a mum and dad's shop compared to a
that's it.
Giving a CEO something else, eh?
Yeah, that's it. So, like, instead of going online and buying something from one of the big name brand retailers or something like that, because people can go online and your shop's online now.
Yeah, we're online. The biggest thing we struggle with, mate, is the shipping. You know, you know, we can ship sort of 60% of our stuff because, you know, lures and that, it's not too bad. We get away with that. But as soon as you start trying to ship a fishing rod,
or a Traeger.
Or a Traeger. We do a lot of click and collect, but I couldn't. Yeah, trying to ship a fishing rod, it costs more than the rod's worth. You know, I don't know how the big guys get away with it. Obviously, that's just that buying power and the shipping power and that. But it's always good to support a local small business that supports back to your town, I suppose. Yeah.
What's your website?
Rodraifle.com.au.
Rod and Rifle.
Yeah. So.
And you've got you're on Facebook as well.
Yeah, we're on Facebook, we're on Facey, and on Instagram. That's about as far as we're going to go at this stage, I think.
Yeah.
It takes enough of your time just doing those.
You going to start a TikTok, mate?
Nah. Can't do it. You got a TikTok, Mikey?
I do, yeah. I've got literally 30 million views or something on videos on there. But
yeah, nice.
They're not quality views, if you know what I mean. Like, don't look at the comment section on TikTok. It's a cesspool of just idiots. Yeah.
12-year-old kids, bloody, telling you how you're doing things wrong.
Yeah. Oh, mate, and that's a shame because, you know, we try to do educational videos as well as much as we can, like, you know, filleting fish and stuff like that. But you're scared to do it because there's trolls out there that just got nothing better to do with their time to just tear you apart.
Yeah.
And so, it makes people a little bit nervous, I suppose, trying to do that sort of stuff, eh?
Yeah.
And, I mean, you'd see it, Mikey, like I'm constantly deleting comments
from
people who are just looking to have a crack at you.
Yeah. I try and leave, like, that. Especially on YouTube, my fan base is sort of good enough that if someone does say something unreasonable
You've
or
got
stupid,
some good backup there.
Other people will comment back at them and shut them down.
Yeah.
If someone's just absolutely blatantly over the top, like, bad, like I'll ban them. Yeah. Just straight up ban. Cool. But if it's just like a middle of the road, not to someone telling me I'm an idiot and you're the worst fisherman I've ever seen. If that's their opinion, you know. Yeah. And if that put a smile on their face that day, then then so be it, you know. Like,
isn't it sad though? Like, as a society, that like that's the way it is. Like on the internet. Like, imagine being a kid trying to navigate that stuff.
Oh.
You know, like
I'd hate to go back to school these days, mate.
Mate. Like, you just want to put up a video of like, oh, here I am, buddy, having a bit of fun catching a fish. Oh, you're a dickhead, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Hope you feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, I'd say at this stage on YouTube, probably 1% of the comments are negative. Like, there's 99% is all like, "Oh, I love your stuff."
Yep.
Yeah, keep it up. Like we want to see more. You know, all these sort of comments.
Yeah, nice. I remember doing a video there once on cooking some sort of food, whatever it was, but it must have made it down into South, like USA, down into the southern states where they do that sort of food. And mate, I just got roasted. They just all strips off me.
That's not how you do it.
Yeah. Come over here, we'll cook you some southern barbecue. And I was like, oh, geez.
Where'd you go in the States when you were there?
Everywhere, pretty much, mate.
Because you spent a fair while there, right?
Yeah, so my brother was living in Canada, in Calgary.
Yeah.
He'd been there for a few years, so my wife and I flew into Calgary. We bought a car, went to Home Depot, and we ripped out the back seats of it and put a bed in it. Got it. We had a Ford Expedition. It was a bloody beautiful car. And we put a bed in the back of it, and then we just headed into the States. And we did 3 months on the first stint and just went everywhere, mate. Yeah, we drove the car through the middle of Times Square and everything in New York, and did Christmas in New York, and we went as far down to the southern point in Florida Keys, and went through all the national parks and that, and then we actually went back again. We had some friends fly to New York, and we picked them up in New York, and we drove them to Vegas. Yeah, and we went via New Orleans and Denver and Colorado and all that stuff, and just absolutely loved it. It was really, really good experience. And we actually sold that car in Canada, and then we flew to South America and just started poking around place to place, and ended up going to Egypt and seeing the pyramids.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, and Africa, and I was quite lucky. Started my apprenticeship when I was young. I was 17 or 18, I think. So by the time I'd done 10 years, it was just under 30, and I'd had long service leave up, and on also quite a bit of holiday pay. So we lived in Darwin at that stage, and we just sold everything. We had a couple of houses. We still got those, and just rented them out and just disappeared for a while. Yeah. We flew out to the east of Australia, and we came back from the west. And, good experience. I look back now, and, I'd encourage anyone that's ever thought about it, or, that's a young fella or even young lady, young man that wants to do it, to go and do it, because there's a bloody big world out there, and it'll reality check you pretty quick.
Yeah, especially you come from little old Katherine. Driving through Times Square is a bit different than driving down.
Yeah, big time. But, got friends for life too, Mikey, I remember like a Canadian friend of ours who he comes over fishing. He was actually really good mates with my brother, and he comes over, goes barra fishing with us. And he's just very intricate, loves to Google and YouTube stuff. And so what he could find most on YouTube was yourself barra fishing.
Awesome.
So, he come over and...
did I do a video?
Yeah, you did a video for me where we sent it to him and said, you said, is Mikey Cunningham here, coming to you from Australia? And, he absolutely loved that. And, we're just to have those connections now where, I can take my kids to places in the States where we've got friends, and they can go and experience what it's like to live in a place. It's different when you go there on a holiday, but if you've got friends there, as you guys would know, and you actually go and stay at their house and you do things that locals do. There's places all around the world where we've got a couple of contacts. It's been a really good thing for us. Geez, we spent some money doing it too, but
it's not cheap.
No, it wasn't cheap.
I'm going in a week's time, flying to the States.
Nice. Where are you off to?
We're going to only got a couple of weeks there. Me and my brother, and my old man. We're going to fly into LA, and then LA pretty much straight to. I think we're going via. I think we got to land in Denver, change over and swap planes in Denver, and then go to Nashville. Then we go to Nashville for a week. And then from there, we're going up to Vegas for the NRL.
Yeah, awesome.
The first round of the NRL there.
Jeez, that'll be good. Far out.
Super looking forward. We just had, like friends of ours, a mate of ours was just down in Sydney and caught up with one of his relatives, and he's actually got had 3 spare tickets for his, he's got like a private suite right on the 50-metre line. So he's like, do you guys want some tickets to this private suite?
No, we're right, mate. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. All the grog's included. I'll get me money's worth. Don't worry.
They're all Roosters supporters, aren't they?
Yeah. No, I think there's a couple of Broncos supporters in there, but no, it'll be right.
That'll be unreal. Yeah. No, it's a real, like I said, reality check to go to these places where America was fighting a civil war when Ned Kelly was running around the bush here in Australia. And you go to somewhere like Cairo. In Egypt, it's got the same population in that city than what Australia does, the whole of Australia. Like some of that stuff it's just amazing to think the rest of the world. And there's a big world out there, and it makes your problems and life seem really insignificant. Yeah. And you start kicking around a bit.
It is good when you live like Katherine's remote enough, and then you come like out here and there's, this time of year there's 30 people here, 40 people here. It is good to go away and get amongst that sort of stuff, and just really puts a different perspective on life. I went to Europe for Christmas a few years ago, and like we were in Rome, walking around the streets of Rome and looking at stuff that's tens of thousands of years old, and you think, geez, how insignificant are we? And everyone's complaining about this stupid stuff going on at home.
Oh, yeah.
It just completely changes your perspective of life, and it makes you not worry so much about the little things.
Yeah.
And travel's definitely the go. Do you do any fishing when you're there?
Look, my wife's not a huge fisherwoman, which is fine. I had a rod through most of the states, and you just there's a lot of rules. Obviously, you need to have permits here and fish here, and so we did a lot of trout fishing. Did a heap of trout fishing and pike fishing in Canada with the friends up there, so that was good. But yeah, I didn't do a hell of a lot. Wasn't really, I didn't want to burden my wife with having to worry about if I want to do a fishing trip. I'll do one, sort of go to Target something. So
yeah, I saw your old man. He went to the States not that long ago, hey, and he went and got tarpon.
So he, my brother and him and a few others flew to a place called Silver King Lodge.
Yeah.
They go and catch bloody big tarpon, like 200-pound things.
Yeah.
And they catch them on like a marabou jig.
Yeah.
On these old spin reels, and give them a battle for an hour and a half. Actually, those rods, I was talking about those 5-piece rods. Dad took them over there, and the guides there, Dad's unpacking them, and the guide's just going, what are you doing, mate? It's like, we catch a fish on these. Like, not on that thing. No way, no. Anyway, Dad hooked up, got a massive fish on this 5-piece rod, and those guides are just gobsmacked by the things. They just, every time I use those, they keep blowing me away. They're unbelievable. But after that, he flew to Guatemala and went sail fishing. And they were catching 20, 30 sails a day.
Yeah.
As well as, 10 to 15 dolphin fish in between that.
Yeah, bloody hell.
Just a different world, eh? Yeah.
Have you chased any billfish out here at all?
Yeah, so when I was younger, we used to do that non-stop. Like my first sort of ever trips to King Asher with my old man and Crofto, another guy from Katherine, and we would just come out, stay on the boat, out around the points of Anlin there and that, and then go way offshore. In the morning we'd be punching out for an hour and a half or something like that. Then we'd be trolling all day. And as a kid, it was boring as batshit back then. But yeah, we would hook a lot of good marlin, a lot of good sailfish out there. I haven't done it too much these days. I'm getting back into it. It's a fine art. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing with it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I really need.
I've never caught one.
Yeah, need a bit of help to get it. I've got all the lures and stuff like that. We just sort of brother and I get distracted too easy and go and catch a reef fish somewhere or something.
That's the thing, though. It's not a bad thing if you're looking for new country. Then you're just trolling around. You've got that gear. You troll
definitely.
around and then just keep an eye on the sound. And if you might come across something,
Yeah, but you go out, like you punch out for 2 hours, and you go out around this reef, and you troll around the reef, and you go too close to the reef, you just get smashed by a big mackerel, get chopped off or something, and then all of a sudden you're on top of the reef and you might as well drop a jig down. Oh, look, a big red emperor or something, and it's hard to troll around the reef for hours hoping for a sailfish when you can just go on top of it there and have a bit of fun, So, but yeah, look, it's just got to get back into it again, and we've got all the gear there. We just need to pull our finger out and do it.
There's been some big billfish caught this year just gone. Guys stayed out at Weeby. That the last time they were here, they got a big marlin last time they were here as well, I think.
Okay.
But they got the one this year was massive. The photo there, Brett. I think we talked about it.
Yeah,
before,
it's been on the podcast. Yeah.
But yeah, they got a massive marlin. For here.
But they're catching them. Like, you can see the island in the background on the photos. Hey, like they're right there. Yeah.
Well, I've seen them a few times just at North Rock. Off the top of North Island there. I've seen them a few times. Like when I was chartering back in the day, I used to go there a fair bit because we used to go into Paradise Bay and give people a break. Like, especially if you're. Because a lot of my customers were like grey nomads and stuff, and they'd get a bit buggered being in the sun all day, and especially if it was a bit rough or windy. So I used to go into that Paradise Bay there and give them a spell for lunch or whatever. But yeah, just to fish that around that North Rock a little bit, and a few times now I've been there and had them come up to the back. Stainless steel props just slowly turning and just flashing, and they just come up and just literally just cruise. You think there's a big shark or something coming up, and they just sit there and and these are big fish, like they're bloody 40, 50 kilo at least, and then other mates of ours had them. They come up. One came in and chased they were on the spot lock on the electric motor.
Yep.
And same thing. It just like flared right up and come right in. And took a couple of swipes that electric motor.
Those the boys up in Groot and that, they tag a lot of those sails and marlin with GPS trackers and that.
Yeah.
And one of the trips we're coming out here, David Cherivolo rang Dad and said, "Oh mate, we tagged a billfish up at Groot, and the receiver's pinging off North Island, hasn't moved. It's just pinging on the beach there somewhere. Can you go and try and find the receiver, because the thing's worth a few grand, you know?"
Yeah.
Dad goes there with this big high hopes of just going to walk on the beach and find this receiver, you know. But he goes around there and he makes a plan to do it, you know, on the right tide and that, and gets there, pulls up on the beach, hops out of the boat, walks over, picks up the thing and hops back in the boat.
No way.
Well, the thing's this big, mate, the size of a rock.
And it's come from 300 kilometres across the ocean.
And he's pulled up right on the beach. He didn't have any. He just, so I said, second beach around, maybe you'll find it there. Pulls up, walks up, here it is, hops back on the boat.
Oh, how good's that?
But yeah, no, it's interesting that they do all that tag and that and see how much they travel. And
Yeah,
it's good. I wish they did a lot more with the barra. Like, there's so much unknown about them. Like, you know, we guess a lot about what they do and where they go, but you don't really have any solid data. They did a little bit around the Roper there for a while where they tagged them and they had these buoys up the river and they'd ping when they went past the buoy.
Yep.
And they were doing some amazing amount of travelling up and down the river and in and out with every tide cycle and that. But yeah, it's still a bloody guess of what they're doing half the time, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we used to have Infofish used to Bill Soynock used to run a program here through the fishing club, and we used to have tagging kits.
Yep.
So you'd get little diary, the tagging bloody the tool,
implementer, yep.
Yeah, the tool to put the tags in, little instruction thing, and then it'd say, right, I just measure the fish, record where it was, what the tag number is, and then like if somebody caught it later on, they'd call the number on the tag, and same thing, you'd tell them how long it was, where you caught it, and then they'd go, right, I put it into a thing, but hasn't been done here for quite a while. It'd be nice to get it going again, but again, it's one of them things. It's it's all money, you know.
Well, it is, and we still tag our barra in the Vic River and the Roper River a lot. So quite often you'll get a recapture, and the thing's grown this far and moved this much, and it's good data. It's interesting to see, and it also makes people sort of pretty happy when they catch a fish that somebody else has caught. Shows you that they survive. The only thing, like $1 million fish has been absolutely awesome. It's just that any time a tag fish is caught now, they kill it.
Yeah.
Because they're not sure, obviously. And that's fine. It doesn't matter. You're still allowed to keep them.
Yeah.
So it just means that, his tag trip's over. But a lot of people, any tag fishes are worth $1 million.
Yeah. And has that made a big difference to business, do you think, the $1 million fish?
Yeah, it's been really good, eh? Like, just the amount of blokes that come up. Big groups of them will come up in the runoff in a sort of month or two. They've been in the car talking, fishing for 4 days from wherever they come from. They are just chomping at the bit. They get in the shop, they're full of energy, they're happy. It's so good to see them come up in the big groups of mates just going to go for a fish. And, look, none of them really expect to catch it, but they just want to come up, have fun, catch a barramundi, experience of a lifetime. They might only do it once, but he changes their life. Gets in their blood, and then they're done.
Yeah, it's a bucket list for a lot of people, I suppose. Especially you live in Sydney or Melbourne, so that's a long way to travel, and it's
When you're saying they're chomping at the bit, how often do you get a group coming into the lodge or something, and they've arrived in the afternoon and they're here for 10 days, but that afternoon they'll put the boat in straight away. They're like, and they'll go, and we want to do a bit of a recce,
Yep.
But they're so keen. They just get on straight on the water.
We're the same, mate. You drive here from Katherine and you start telling yarns to each other, and all of a sudden you're in the boat as quick as you can. Every second counts when you first get here. It's like, hurry up, get the strap off, fill it with the fuel. Did we do this? Did we do that? Let's go. Come on.
Get the Starling turned on.
Yeah, get the Starling turned on. Got to keep in contact.
The live stream.
That is a game changer too, though, isn't it? The Starling. Like we've got it. We got it on our boat that I live on when I'm working, and got it at the house, and it's just so good to be out there and have like that connection.
Yeah, and look, a lot of people. If you don't like your job, they don't want service.
Yeah,
they don't want to have people ringing them. But I'm different, mate. I want to hear from my family. I want to hear from customers. And I want to show them that you're out there. You're not just selling the stuff, you're actually using it. There's a big difference to putting it on the shelf and then actually being able to tell someone, I've used that and caught fish on it. And
so this trip you've just done now, because you had Starlink on the boat because you were uploading videos as you're actually out there. So you're doing like R&D basically this trip with with your mate Brad,
Yep.
who's
Yep, from
Um,
Adrenaline Outdoors. Yeah,
from Adrenaline Outdoors. So he's a supplier of Jabber's fishing rods.
yeah.
Is that
So
right?
he's a Australian importer of. There's this guy named Isaac, Singaporean fellow who's just his brain's just wired for fishing.
Yep.
You know, he just designs stuff that he just thinks like a bloody fish. I don't know how that happens, but he just has this idea of how to build something, and he builds it strong and builds it well. I remember, look, I was, it'd be 4 years ago. I was a proper questioning the whole thing. He said, you know, get hold of this fella. But this was before they were importing them.
Yep.
And he said, here, get hold of this fella and buy a couple of these rods and bring them over. You know, and they come in this case, they're not even a metre long.
Yeah.
Put them together, and I went, I'm going to break this thing in 10 seconds. You know, and I
There's
didn't-
a stigma around like
Yeah.
some people. I worked at BCF for a little while
Yep.
years ago, and
Yep.
a lot of people like they didn't want to buy a 2-piece or a 3-piece or
Yep.
anything like that. They think like it's going to be weak at the joins or something like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
The footage I've seen of these 5-piece rods,
Yeah, and
You're putting some hurt on them.
I bought those rods, and I didn't even use them. Put them in my shed for 2 years because I was like, they're not going to work, mate. You know. And then finally, Brad kept annoying the shit out of me to use them, and then now I'm addicted to them because they really do. They do exactly as they're supposed to. Like you'll see on that Goldie video, you know, I pull the thing apart first and show you how big it is and just put it back together and send it over. And then I purposely put hurt on them to show how much you can bend them things. And this guy, the way he's made them, the ferrules and the joins and that, they work well. And if you are unlucky to break them, like you can break them, the tip section, you hit a canopy, or we all
Yeah.
break rods.
Yeah,
You just
jam
buy
it
a
in the
new-
car door or something like that.
You just buy a new tip section.
Stick it in the rotor blades of the chopper.
but you can buy
Yeah, exactly.
jeez. So you can buy a piece.
Yeah, you can buy any piece of the rod.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, so like I know.
It's not these because these aren't entry level rods. These are
Yeah, these are $300, $400 rods.
Yeah.
So you know, you buy a new piece for I don't know $80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not up for a whole new rod.
Yeah.
And if you go away on an extended trip, take 1 or 2 tip pieces just in case.
Yeah,
You snap
yeah.
one, then well away you go. You can just replace it. And you know, I have a lot of rods at the shop where they're all missing the same piece.
Yeah.
And they don't make the replacement piece for the, you know, a couple of the certain 3-piece travel rods. They don't make the tip section for it. People come in, they got to buy a whole new rod. You know, so yeah, and the range is huge, mate. You've got anything from like that light jigging rod I use to a barra rod to the beast flogger, which is like for big barra, big soft plastics, and then you've got the game changer, which is for those tarpon. Old
Yep.
fellow was catching 200-pound tarpon on them, and again, mate, that guide laughed at him, and the guide at the end just was like, "Wow, that's amazing."
Yeah.
You know, like you've
It's amazing the technology
Yeah.
that gets put into fishing gear these days.
it is, mate, and it really like I was a proper just like they're never going to work. I
Yeah.
was like and until I started using them, then I'm like, oh yeah, righto, you've convinced me. They're absolutely awesome. So, and yeah, to be able to replace a piece if you break it makes life a lot bloody easier.
Yeah, yep, for sure. And so you were trying some new jigs as well?
Yeah, so this fella just comes up with ideas and stuff, and he makes those little sort of I suppose just call them a Moxie Sparkle they're called, and they've got a flat on one side and a keel on the other. So just when you send them down, it just does this beautiful little dance on the way down
Yeah.
instead of just sort of dropping straight down and up like you do with a gulp or something. Gulp will shoot up and down like it'll do its little sporadic thing, but those sparkles, they just give you sort of a 5 to 10 second window of dropping.
Yeah.
And it just seems to turn them fish on, mate.
Because quite often when you get the bite, it is on the drop as well.
It is, mate. Yeah, you won't ever really pull up. Generally, you don't pull up and get a hit. It's you pull it up, and as it's dropping, you'll see that line just do a little dart, and then when you load it up, you'll feel them on there. So, he's completely changed my mindset too on the whole fishing side. Because I was not a big believer in those metal jigs.
Yep.
I just wasn't. Again, I just didn't try them, didn't use them enough, wasn't shown how to use them properly. So we used to use gulps so much, just a jig head with a big gulp on it.
Yep.
And they worked awesome. And I just found these jigs, you can't destroy them. I've got a solid ring on them with a proper strong hook. The gulps, you're obviously always changing all the time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
these ones, you just send them down and away you go. And when it's quiet and you're not getting a fish, you can put a slice of meat on them, like a slice of fish on them.
Yeah.
And just sit it on the bottom.
Yeah, yeah,
And they'll eat it anyway.
yeah.
So it's sort of, you don't really need a paternoster with all that stuff on it. And yeah.
Good fun too, I suppose, jigging rather than just sitting there
mate.
with dead bait and
Yeah. Nah, there's nothing better than jigging it up and down, and then when you go to load, you know, pull it up and it's loaded, and then they're just powering down. You know, you can feel their tail, they just know where they want to go, and you're trying to turn their head. Yeah, I mean, that's why you fish. Like, I love, you know, bait fishing's fine because you can catch fish, but I bloody love it when they hit you on a jig. You know, you've convinced that fish that that's a real thing, and then you've hit it and you've caught it and you've landed it. And unfortunately, with that video I did, that the old tax man came along and took half my goldie. But yeah, it's good to be able to trick a fish. One of them goldies are 30 or 40 years old or something.
Yeah.
You know, those things, you know, so they're pretty smart. They've been around a while.
Yeah.
And bloody tastes good though.
So those jigs, they're a new product now.
Yeah, new one.
You're going to start stocking them?
Yeah, I've got them on the shelf now already, mate. And that's the thing, like I said, I don't really like to just put it on the shelf and say, here's a new one. It's like, righto, well, yeah, I used it
first.
Yeah, and I had success on it. Here's a video that shows you I did use it. And yeah, and like I said early on, mate, it's easy to do it when you love it. So there's a huge range of stuff. They do jig heads and all sorts of stuff, mate, these jabbers guys. And he's a really smart fellow, this Singaporean. He's got it sorted, and he knows the technology, knows the factories. So, you know, a lot of the stuff he sent me, we've found mistakes with it. Had a 3/0 jig head with a Z-Man plastic on it with had a little spot on it for a stinger.
Yep.
I put the stinger on it, hooked the fish, the jig head come back with no stinger. So I grabbed the jig head out and I pulled the ring out of it. It just pulled straight out. But the thing is, I can ring Brad, who rings Isaac. Isaac goes to the factory and says, the hell's going on here?
Yeah, yeah.
And 3 days later in Express Post, I get all new jigs with different, redone different things. You know, and goes, here, now test them. And you can't break the things now. So, you know, it's good to have that direct contact to go, right, well, yeah, here, we need to fix this. It didn't work, yeah. So
it's good having somebody in the industry like yourself that is out there. You're not just in it to make money, you enjoy doing it, and you actually go out and test the gear and make sure it's working before you on-sell it to people. And
that's it.
You know, you stand by your stuff then, I suppose.
And that's the biggest thing, standing by it and knowing that, it's a bloody good product. Yeah. So
if anyone wants anything from you, mate, they can find you on your website.
Yeah, on our website, mate, on Facebook. Find me on Instagram. You can ring me up out of the phone book, bloody chat to me anytime. I don't mind. I'm always on Instagram Messenger and that as well. We reply as quick as we can to any of that stuff, and that's all me. I haven't got a bloody media person replying to any questions. You know, sales inquiries or emails. It's me, mum and dad. You know, so it's a small business, and you know who you're talking to pretty much.
Yeah. So get out there, guys. Support the people that support you. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, mate. We should probably think about shutting it down. We're probably going to two-part of this one, maybe. What have we got? 2 hours and 24 minutes. Yeah.
It's a good stretch, eh?
Yeah. It is, yeah. No, well, thanks for coming on, mate.
Hey, no worries, mate.
Yeah, thanks heaps, mate. Appreciate it.
Glad I run into you there. Last night we were saying we should catch up anyway, so it's good. And anytime I can do it over the phone, even have a chat.
Yeah, mate.
Have a chat, eh?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. We can work something out where you've got something happening, or you know, new products coming in, or
I reckon
events or anything.
Need to come out to the big horse, and I need to come out to the bloody Eastercom.
Yeah.
And we can do a bit of stuff, eh?
Yeah, for sure, mate.
All right.
Thanks again, mate.
And
we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, cheers, bros. Champion.
Oh, look at that.
Guys in the Gulf.